Well, a very good morning, good night to you. It's Boss Trading here from Amsterdam. It's 10 o'clock in the morning in Amsterdam, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning in New York Eastern Time. And welcome to the Early Bird Pre-Market Show, the first Early Bird Pre-Market Show of this year. And I'm overwhelmed being here on Benzinga's Pro channel. And let me introduce myself first before we start with the show. I'm Boss Trading, and I trade for a couple of years now. I was an investor when I quit my job as a CEO 4 years ago. I've been a CEO for 11 years now, And 4 years ago, I quit my job and started my own company and also started investing. And after I did that and did it quite successfully, I started trading as well. And now I'm a full-time day trader. So I pay my own bills from day trading. I do this all day, not all day long. I do it in the morning and in the afternoon, New York time. And I'm going to tell you all about my specific type of trading, what kind of trades I make and what kind of trades I don't make. I'm going to tell you about my strategies, and I'm going to tell you about how I'm successful and what I did wrong over the years. So that's also a big learning. It was also a big learning curve for me. Lost money in the beginning, as we all do, and still lose money on some days, but now I'm able to make some steady trades, and I'm positive for almost every day, except for except for yesterday. It was a slow market, as you all know, and I overtraded. I started trading XL, overtraded XL, and came out with a loss. I'm going to talk about that trades a little further in the show. This is a 1 hour show. I'm going to show you what the market looks like in the first minute of the pre-market open. We're going to talk about stocks. We're going to take some tickers and talk about them. I'm going to make my pick of the day for just before I close the show in 1 hour. We're going to see what's going on in Europe. We're going to see what's the news tonight when you all were asleep. And I think most of you are still asleep. And it's going to be a great show. Lots to talk about because when I woke up this morning and I put on my television, the news of the morning in Europe was the Roaring Twenties are back. JP Morgan came out with this press release, and it's all over the news programs in Europe. The Roaring Twenties are back, and we are going to see this enormous growth of the stock markets in Europe, in America, in Asia, everywhere. And it's going to last at least till 2023, they predict. Now, we all know what's happening with predictions, and we all know that no one can predict anything in these markets. So there's a lot of optimism right now, and we're just going to cover that story and see what the merit of that story is. I have my water with me. I have my cup of coffee with me, and we're going to talk about some stocks later on. We're going to talk about Twitter, what's going on there. We're going to talk about NNDM. That's, well, an all-time favorite of mine. That's down now for some days, but maybe is on the rebound. We're going to talk about Helium. Snapchat is coming by, and we're going to cover what's going on now in the pre-market session. Let me first show you my. Yes, Roman, welcome to the show. It's European. It's European time. We're live from Amsterdam. Welcome to the show. It's 10 o'clock here in Amsterdam, and it's 4 o'clock Eastern time. But we're gonna do this show in an attempt to put on Benzinga 24/7. And I'm sure that's going to work, and I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. Just going to show you my screen. This is a screen that I have on during the day. I have 3 screens. This is my main screen. Then I also have a screen for my level 2s, of course. And then I have another screen that brings me my news feeds. I'm a technical trader, so I don't trade a lot on news, but I'm not stupid, so I keep my news feed up to see what's going on if something really bad happens, and especially when I'm in a trade, then I want to see if there's news on that specific ticker that I'm in order to get out or to get in. I think everybody does that. So this is my main screen, just 4 fields to see what's going on. I have this up from yesterday. Twitter is up here. XL, I talked about XL and how I did not well on that yesterday. I'm going to show you what I did and why I did not well. SQ is up, and SQ is up because of Jack Dorsey had some news, so we're going to look at that. What's that going to do? And Romeo Power, and that's a hot stock these days. So we're going to look at that one as well today. And what you see now here on that, my pen is giving up. What you see now here on that little square here, I'm going to bring it up here, make it a little bit bigger maybe. We're going to talk about NNDM, Ramon. No worries. So this is my screen pre-market stocks. Just looking at volume first, not that way, but that way. And well, because I'm in Amsterdam and I don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I can trade these from Amsterdam at 10 o'clock, so that's a convenient time. Whenever you trade these stocks, you have to be very careful because the volume you can see here is very low. 300,000 shares traded, 160, 160, 149, 92. So you have to be very, very careful if you want to trade this. I'm going to show you how you can trade this in a moment. But I want to first bring you to the other fields that I have on here. So this is XL, and on these screens I only have my VWAP, as you can see here. On here also this little red line is a 200 moving average. That's on a 1 minute, so this has no value here. But I have my VWAP on those 4 screens here. So I have, so that's my overlook screen, so to say. And if I want to get in a little closer, then I go to one of my green shares, and then I can see what's happening here. Normally I would have this 1 minute on Twitter. So I have my 1 minute here on Twitter and my 5 minute here on Twitter. So I trade, I get in on a 1 minute and I have my eyeball on the 5 minutes to see if it's overextended or not. So let's zoom in to Twitter now and going up. Yeah, well, maybe. Let me just take this away. These are my little up arrows. Okay. I'm a technical trader, but my screen is not full of all kind of statistics. What I have here is, I can show you better on this one. So what I have here, also, I've of course the VWAP. I have my 9 EMA, that's the green line. I have my 20 EMA, that's the yellow line. I have my 50 EMA, that's the blue line. And then I have my 200 moving average, that's the red line. So the 200 moving average is only of value to me on a daily basis. So if I'm thinking to go long on a stock, then candles have to be above 200, the 200 SME. Otherwise, I don't go long at all. And so that's just a support for me on the daily. So on the daily, you can see I have only one line here. That's the 200 SME. I have also that blue one, which follows trend nicely, as you can see. But I have this 200 SME in order to see if this is a stock that I can go long in. And going long is something that I do, and what my typical trade is the reversal long. I'm going to tell you about that in this show and in other shows, but I'm just first going to show you what's on my screen so that you can understand what I'm doing. Okay, well, this graph is not loading right now. Just looking at this. That's funny. So this is my first live show, and my chart is not loading. So that's something that you don't want. So just to say, I'm always on this big screen when I'm in a trade. So I'm trading off levels. So that's the long reversal play, and in the afternoon the short reversal play, and midday I do the VWAP bounce. Those are the three main strategies that I do, and I do also the breakout plays, and then breakout over pre-market top. Just curious why this is not loading. Is Twitter still existing, or is it going bankrupt while I'm doing my show? This is funny. Okay. I'm just gonna wait till this screen load up again. Hey Lopez, thanks for being on the show. Something's coming back now. I don't know if this is a problem at my end or if this is a problem at the broker's end. I'm just going to start up these again. I think that's better. That's my dog. And that's me. So during these shows, just gonna wait till my charts are up again. During these shows, I'm gonna I'm gonna do the pre-market open. So I'm gonna, not today because it's my first show, but next week I'm I'm gonna also show you some trades that you can do when pre-market is open. One of the main things when pre-market is open is that you don't chase those first trades because of the volume, always difficult to follow them, and because it's pre-market, you cannot put a stop loss market order in. So you have to do it. You have to do this all manual. So you have to be, although it doesn't go that fast as when markets open, it's always a problem to get out of trade. So I've been in trades that I couldn't get out of and made a big loss. And you always have to watch those trades very carefully. I'm just opening now my screen again in order to see if I'm back on track, and so I can show you what my screens look like. I'm just going to wait a minute. Okay, so that's just seeing if there is a problem. I can see that not right now. So I'm gonna talk about pre-market open. How can you trade a pre-market open? Don't trade those pops that you see in the first minute candle, because you can get lost in them and they can flush at any time, because the volume is so low that big traders can manipulate the price very easily. And in the morning, I'm always having this feeling that I'm trading against the bots, which I think is probably right to think that. So it's just a quick in and out in the morning, and then you can make a couple of $100 in the morning. And if you can pick up a couple of bucks in the morning, that's always something that I don't refuse. Before going in the real market open, then you're ahead of yourself, and that's always a nice feeling. I'm a little distracted now because of the graphics that don't open, and I don't see anything at my side. That's the problem. So I'm just going to wait and see if this is something that's going to be resolved. So, but that's something that we're going to do. We're going to see how you can trade pre-market and be very cautious about it, and what kind of strategy you should take if you trade those pre-market openings. We're also going to cover some news happening in the night in the United States. So what happened tonight and what happened post-market. And we're also going to be covering some European stocks and some European markets in order to see what's going on over there. And in order to do that, I'm going to just go there and see what European markets did in the opening. European markets are open now for a while, so we can get a view of what's happening. There's the overall sentiment in Europe is very positive right now. So all markets, not all markets, but most markets made all-time highs last week and this week, and I think it's nice to follow some of them in order to see if that is anything to take into account when trading American markets, because I trade American markets only and I invest in European markets. That's how you should view me. I'm just gonna pull up the screens now for the European market and see if there is something going on there. I'm checking now if there's something wrong with my internet or that there's something wrong with the broker that I'm using or the graphs that I'm using. Okay, I see I'm back on track now. Just pull up this one. Okay, here we are. We are now looking at Twitter again. This is a monthly chart. It's something that I use that much. Okay, so this is my screen. I told you about my EMAs that I have on. So the green one is 9 EMA, 20 EMA, 50 EMA, and this is a 200 SMA that I only use on a daily basis. And of course, I use this VWAP bounce of this VWAP in order to play my VWAP bounce during the day. Further, you see here at the bottom. Let's pull this here. This is my volume graph. That's what you see here. And in Twitter, there's no volume now. It's just 20 past 4, of course, so there's no volume. That's a logical thing to assume. There's no volume in Twitter. There's almost never volume in the big stocks at this time. So it's always volume in the smaller stocks. And then you see here my RSI 14 that I use not to get in or to get out, but these are, well, this is my cockpit when I'm in a trade. So I don't use this as an entry level or an exit level, but I use these as my cockpits in order to determine if I have to get out or if I can stay in. So of course, with other indicators like extension on the 5 minutes, I use at this RSI 14, the Willis RSI 14. If it gets above 70, then it's going to be sketchy. If it gets under 30, it's going to be sketchy as well, depending if you are long or short, of course. Well, using these RSIs, you have to be. What you don't want to do is that you say, okay, this one gets above 70, I'm going to get out, or this one is going to get under 30, I'm going to get in. That's not how you should view these. You have to see what they did, and that's for every stock that you trade different. If this is an indicator here, if it's at 83, that the stock really is going down, because you can touches the line here and touches the line here, and now it's pre-market, of course, and so it doesn't do anything. So in the case of Twitter, it can be the case that it's well over 70, and that the RSI tells you, well, maybe you should get out, or maybe you should get in, but you always have to compare that to what did the stock in other times when it went above 70 or below 30. So that's the thing that's important for the RSI. So just not following them blindly, but look at them in a way that if it was here in this 80s, then you can see here, well, there's not that much happening. If it's so, it has to touch 84 in order to do something. So if it gets above 70 here, then I'm not particularly then I don't have a problem with it. So that's my setup, and there's nothing more or less than this. After I base my entries, of course, on the 1 minute, because I'm a day trader. I get in the morning and I get a blank in the evening. So I look if I'm going to talk about my entries in later shows to show you exactly how I'm trading. But just for an opening show now, this is just some basic information to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm getting in at 1 minute, of course, and while I'm getting in, of course, I'm also looking at my level 2 in order to see if there are big sellers or big buyers, depending on what I'm going to do at that moment. So 1 minute is one thing, but always look at my level 2 in order to see if there are big buyers or big sellers in the neighborhood of the strike price that I want. And besides looking at the level 2, I also look at the tape, of course, in order to see if there are not only big potential buyers or big potential sellers, but the tape also tells me if there are really big of the big sellers and big buyers are really coming through. So that's the tape that I'm using. I'm gonna show you that in later shows as well. So that's the way I'm trading, and in preparing my trades, I'm gonna show you some levels in a while, so you can see that where I'm trading from. Oh, Ramon, I don't know which is the best European trader. I'm trading Trade Zero, and I think that's a very good broker, because I'm always getting filled. I'm always getting in and out when I want to. It's very quick. It's not that expensive. So Trade Zero for me is the broker that I'm going to. And what you here see is TC2000. I'm using this for my graphs. All right. So let's see what's going on in the market right now. Maybe we should. I'm having this watch list, and these are all the indicators that are on this watch list. You also can use Easy Scan here, and I made some of my scans are they are in the software, and some of the scans that I made myself, some of the bounces here. But we are first now looking at the watch list pre-market in order to see what's happening right now. And I'm using volume to determine if there's something that we can look at and is looking interesting right now. Well, SOS is something that we saw. I have to change my. Oh, this is one. SOS might be interesting because we traded that. I traded that a few times this week and the weeks before. I'm just gonna make this one a little smaller now because it's not. Volume is going to be very, very low, so that's not too in. So this is what happened to SOS in the first minute. This is the first candle that opened here, this one. So this white line is the post-market close at 550, and this is the open at 557. You can see it here, and this is you use that enormous pop for the first minute candle, and you don't want to be in this one because this could go anywhere. So I don't want to be in this candle and just hope that it goes up any further, because I think that's just a suicide play. I think what you should do when you look at these first pops, at least that's what I do. So you look at this first pop, and then you see here another pop, and it gets rejected at 574. Then I'm going to go back to the daily, and you see that I've traded this before. You go back at the daily, and you see that there are no obvious levels in this range that you can trade from the daily as I see it now. There are some here is one, the low at 582, and here is one low at 588. So well, that's not a strong level. So if you're looking at this 574, this is the, well, if you open your browser and when you go and when you start trading, this is what you see quite often, these big pops here. And then the rest of the pre-market, you see this line going down. It stays under VWAP. It even stays now under the opening and of the close of the post market and the opening of this morning. Just trying to reach that now. So this is a typical graph that you see in a lot of pre-market pops. So you see the pop. This is not especially big pop from 553 till 575. So you see the big pop, and then it fades down again. And we are now 30 minutes into pre-market trading, and it's going to try to take VWAP again here a few times, I think, and going back down. And even when it's trading above VWAP in pre-market, I don't want to take it because the risk with a volume of 330,000 is far too great for me. So this is a typical play that you don't want to trade on a long side in pre-markets. The risks are enormous. You see these enormous spikes that you don't like in a 1 minute candle, and you just want to stay off this one in pre-market trading. What's more interesting for SOS now is that I'm just going to take these away because these are all my intraday trading lines during these weeks, and it's not something you want to see right now. So this is this enormous, ridiculous pop till 1584. And you see all those gaps here between opening and close here, and volume going down in SOS. What I'll be looking for now is it's at least above 9 EMA on a daily, and it's at least above 200 in the daily. So if you want to trade this one as a day trader now, you don't want it to be under 521. It's now trading around 554, and you don't. And the next level that you want is 616 and above. You always have this. Also have this 20 EMA here on a daily, which can be some resistance. I usually don't draw that resistance lines here, but as well as a little sketchy right now, I would stay off it if there's nothing else going on, and look for something that's looking even better than it's looking better than this one. So, and let's look at this pre-market list again. We have the EMMP. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's it. IMU-CHEP trade. So we have the same. Look at what's happening here. So there's the pop again here, and this is opening. So the blue one is opening, and the white one is closing. So there's a little down, and then this enormous pop. And what you see now here is, will it, you can, if you draw such a line, and you always have, is this the line or is this the line? Pre-market, I don't trade those trend lines. But what's interesting now, and this is what happened post-market, so there was some news in IMMP. This is pre-market, 398, so yeah, well, you can say that, I'll put it on 4, a nice round number. And then we have here this 420, which is a line that I drew earlier, so I have to look at what's going on there. Look at this pop from post-markets, from 317 till 413. Then another try to reach that 413, then it comes down and closes post-market here at 375. And then a pop up against to 4, so it cannot reach at 413. It's a little lower, just be honest. That's almost a double top here. Try to reach this 413 here, doesn't get there. Try to reach 4 here, rejects it. So this is a trade that I will be eyeballing, T of IMMP, because these are some clear levels here. So 412-ish and 420, I will have a look at that later, what this 420 is. These to me, 412 and 4.00, so 412 and 4.00 are clear levels to me. And although it's trading now above VWAP, and you could say, okay, when it comes down now here and makes a setup, then I have my VWAP bounce. But when with a volume of 470,000, I'm not risking that kind of play now, because it can look at these candles. This is, mind you, at a 1 minute. So normally when market would be open and it would bounce here on VWAP and made a setup, and the setup is with a higher high and a higher low. I'm a technical trader, so it's a higher high and a higher low. I will show you one of those setups in this show and a later show. But I think it's important to tell you that a VWAP bounce pre-market is not something I would trace. So I'm eyeballing this now because this 4 level is interesting and this 412 is interesting. So if I want to make a pass at this, I surely want to have the indication that's going to go above 4. And then I have some room until 412, and then I have another level to trade to is 420. Stock is up now 21%. And you see how slow it goes in pre-market, so you can just look at this with some ease. And what I will do then is that I'm not going to stare at the screen all day, but I'm going to set an alert if it passes this 393, and then look to get a break above 4, and then to look to get a break above 412. Those are not big breaks, but 12 cent or 20 cent on a $4 stock is some nice profits. You cannot go in with 10,000 shares, of course, because the market is, because the volume is far too low. But you can make a nice percentage on these stocks. So that you see now, it looks like it wants to go. If you pull this one up, you see this volume is very low, 50,000. That's nothing really, but it's the relative volume that you have to look at now. So in this pop, 50,000, it made a move of 15 cents, 60 cents. So 50,000 shares made a 15 cent move possible. And it's now 10,000 something. So I would get this from my screen. I have now this alert going on, and well, let's go back to it later and see if this is something that we can trade. Let's look at some other stuff, what's happening right now. OCGN. It's also a stock that I traded more than once. And you see a kind of different picture here than the other stocks that we just talked about. So this is the open, small pop, bigger pop at 718. This is a level that I drew earlier. I'm not sure what it is. Probably an intraday level somewhere. So I'm going to take that one off now. So now this is the daily. This is this enormous OGN pop from February, early February. I remember this one because I was in this trade and had my line set out at 1050-ish. I thought that, well, that's the trade. Then I got out, closed the screen, only to find out that it's went up to 1896 later on. But well, that's every trader that trades on a daily basis knows that this is something that's going on. So you're going in, you have your levels ready. You say, well, I think this is going to happen, and I'm getting out at 10. You get out at 10. You're happy with the profit that you made, and you see that's going up till 18, almost 19. So just looking at this OCGN now, it's up 5% now in pre-market. This is daily. This is ridiculous. And then after that, this is, well, yeah, try to make something out of this. You can't. Then what you see here now is then this line going down. And if you want to, then you can see some kinds of consolidation here. Not sure, it's not crystal clear, I'll give you that. But if you want to trade this one now in the market open, but I don't want to trade it pre-market now because there's not a lot of movement, just plus 5%. It's not a lot of movement right now. So if you want to trade this one now pre-market, then 824 would be a nice one. You certainly don't want to have to. So what you can see here, if you want to, what you can see here, if this is a low, and then this is the next, this is the following high, and then this low that you see here is a higher low than this low. So if this is, it's not crystal clear. I told you that. So this low here is higher than this low here. And if this is breaking trends from this trend, and you say, okay, well, we're now going slowly up because only parabolic stocks that are going right up have this. This is what a parabolic stock does. Boom. Well, you never see that in all the. If you trade 100, if you do 100 trades a day, then you never see that. Only if you get squeezed out, as we saw with AMC and with GameStop. But a normal pattern is, of course, a pattern of higher lows and higher highs. And this might be just the beginning of some normal trading in OCGN, and seeing a trend that's going up. Then what you really want to see now is this candle here will get above that 824. Is that possible? Well, the normal ATR here is 0.82, so I can go above that, and I will have OCGN on my radar today. 791 got rejected, so this is some kind of different style of pre-market action that we see normally. So if you know, let's move back to the opening of this play. This is first minute candle. This is second minute candle. Just move this one also. And this is what it did in the first 5 minutes. So first candle, second candle, then nothing. Third candle, fourth candle, fifth candle. So we are here now. When you want to trade this pre-market, then you really want to see that it's just like when markets open. What you really want to see is that the next 5 minute candle is higher than this 5 minute candle, breaks above 5 minutes. So if I'm trading this pre-market, then I would look at this and say, well, this looks like a rejection. This I don't like this little doji here. This one fills this one, so now it's getting interesting. So this whole full candle eats this rejection spike. Okay, we are in for the third candle here, fourth candle here might be interesting, fifth candle here might be interesting, and then in the second 5 minute candle, this one opens above that 740 level, then I would get in 741. Ideally, I get out at 769, and then I have a 27, 26, so 28 cent win on a $7 stock. That's the way you can get in. So this is how you can, if you are real time in this one, then you can trade this on a basis that I just showed you. Wait till the next till the 5 minute makes a new high, then get in on the 1 minute. Be aware that there is no stop market in this because it's pre-market, so you have to get out manually on every trade. So you cannot just go and have a shower and then thinking, well, I put my stops in, it's going to be all right. Now you have to do it manually, otherwise you'll be stuck in this one. So this OCGN is also one that I'm going to eyeball during the day, because it looks interesting, and that's not based on this, but based on this daily level that I show you here now. And I want to see if this is just trends going back up, or that's going to be just around here again and chops the rest of the day. But if this is the start of an upgoing trend, then you want to see the follow through. And if there's no follow through, then I'm taking off my screen. But if there is some follow through, then it's really interesting to trade this one during today. And OGGN can move a lot during one day. 0.82 on a $7 stock is nice, but it can move a lot more than that 0.82. That's just an average, as you know. Okay, let's just take one final look at what's going on right now in pre-market. So you have some small ones. CTRM, ASTC was yesterday a big mover, which is really small. EMPP, Akbar, I don't know. SQQs, OCGN, and this is CCL. change my color again. CCL. Let's look at CCL. Is this the stock that's gonna make a full return? Okay, you see that I discussed this one before. Just gonna erase these now. We're looking at the daily right now. So maybe just to gain some perspective, we're looking at weekly. And we're looking at the weekly, you can clearly see what date this was. This is, of course, okay. I thought I just lost you for a while, but I think I'm still on. Am I? Just let me know, someone. Okay, looking at CCL, this is of February, March 2020, and this was the fall. So CCL is especially interesting because there's still this gap between was before COVID and where it is now. Okay, thank you guys. So this is where we are now. And this is the potential that we see. It was at 764 even. It's I didn't realize that. I traded this one early 2020, but when I see that 764, it's just amazing, this enormous drop. So when you look at these kinds of stocks, then what you want to see is, of course, is there any room for movement in between now and pre-COVID? This is what you want. This is what you want to see. As an investor, I don't invest in CCL. I don't invest in American stocks at all. I just invest in European stocks. It's interesting. What you want to see now on a daily basis. So there's room to move. But look, I don't know if this is a real spike here or not. I think it is. This is the open, and then this is the downward movement. CCL. It tried to get to 30 yesterday. I eyeballed it yesterday in order to see if I could trade it. I took my hands off it because I wanted to get over 30. Just reached that a few times, but with not with the volume and not with the kind of action that I want to see on level 2. fall from CCL to here makes it for me no interesting trade for today. So I'm gonna look at some other stocks. So pre-market, there are some big gappers. AVCT is also going up. Fade move that I talked about a few times now. So there's the pop, there's the fade, and just stay off it pre-market, but also open market until it's above 9. And you can see here why this is a strong level now, because it closed here at 8.54, and this is 9. So it tried to reach the, just let me, 895 was this. So this 9 level is a strong level. And when I see this one, I drew a bigger line, and then usually do. And if it's gonna break that, so 9 is a big level. Just got past that one for a few times, and then there's not a lot of room to go to the next level. Next level is 968, and this is another level that I would put in for these kind of trades. So from 9 to 968, that's the room that you have. If it gets above, you have a 68 cents gap till you would be very careful with this one. Okay, just some other tickets for today in order to see if you can trade something when the market really gets open. Really want to see Snap. Snap had some new. It's gonna back some Bitcoin rallies, but the amount of money involved was not that big. So this is what's it gonna do today after the big move yesterday. That's the $1,000. So you have this level here, and what I want to see when trading this is this one, my 1 minute. Yeah, so it open and close price now here are 60.77 and 60.84. 67, 60.84. So a level is not always just a line. A level can always just a little area, 60.82, 60.75. So when I trade these kind of if I'm going to trade Snap when I'm not going to trade it now because there's no volume, there's 9,000 shares traded, so there's no use in doing that and no sense in doing that. What I want to see now from Snap versus a long trader is I want to see it gap up a little more than what it does now, and then go back to one of these levels, and then from that level get back up. And in other shows, I'm going to be on every morning. In other shows, I'm going to tell you how my setup is looking when I trade these reversal longs. I'm also going to show you how I trade those VWAP bounces. I saw some questions about what kind of VWAP you use. I will also get into that, and I also will get into the reversal short play that I can do, that you can do in the afternoon or here in Europe, in Amsterdam, in the night. Uh, and I want to just get to one other ticket that stood out to me this morning, and it's Hillian. Just looking at the daily. And okay, this is what happened yesterday. You saw this enormous pop. So we're looking at the daily now. It's under the 200. So normally I wouldn't go this one long because it's fading. Yeah, there's obvious. If we're looking at this line, then as a long bias trader, I would say, well, no way, I'm going to trade this one. So this is what you see in this. What we also see in pre-market trades, it goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. What I see here now is a low here at 10.08 and a low here at 10.19. And I'm just getting this feeling, and as a technical trader, that's something very odd to say, of course. I'm just getting this feeling that this 10 might be the bottom of this. It's not an obvious pattern yet. And it's far below this 900s that you can see here. But if you want to trade this one, it's close to 9 EMA on a daily here now. So at 11:30. It had this drop yesterday, but did not drop below. If it does not drop below the 10.79 today, then I'm willing to go into this one. Why? Huh? Pull this one up. This is the 5-minute chart. So this is choppy. And you don't want to see this one below 10.79. Well, let's say 10.80. It's now at 10.99. So you just have to see the price action and the rest of pre-market, but also when markets open. You want to see this 10.80. This one has to hold in order to trade this one up. That's the main thing. Then you can trade it to 11.13. And here you see that trend line that I drew on a daily. So that's the one that you see here. It will not get above that today. It will not get above 12.60 today because that's just far out for a share that's trading now around 11 and has an ATR of 0.87. So but that's for the next day. So I will be eyeballing Hillian this day and the next days. Today I want to see it holding 10.80. If it doesn't hold at 10.80, then I'm out. And then from 10.80 I can go to 11.30, and 11.30 I'm going further up and then deciding what I'm going to do based on the price action. Okay, well, I see that I talked an hour, but I was not up in the first few minutes and had some problem with my graphics, and the hour goes very fast, as I notice now. So we didn't get to talk to European stock markets. We didn't cover the news fully, and that's something that I'm going to do normally. But I had to introduce myself a little bit. So tomorrow there will be a news show, an early bird morning show, again at 4 o'clock Eastern time in New York, and it's 10 o'clock in Europe, Amsterdam time. This was Boss Trading live from Amsterdam. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the heads up. Thanks, Chris, for the compliment that you made me. And be sure that you watch again tomorrow and all the days after tomorrow, because I'm gonna be doing some real life trading also when I'm back and when I'm getting my graphs up. All right. Thanks for watching. Watch Benzinga all day, and I will see you tomorrow at the Early Bird Morning Show. Thanks.